Well, hello. This is a short video. I'm going to show you some of my really crazy albums I picked up in the last few weeks. And this is one of them. Came from a couple. I settled a domestic dispute between two 81-year-old, married for 60 years about, couple. The wife wanted to stop having to clean albums all the time, and her husband got upset and on top of it, and next thing I knew, he shoveled about 300 albums at me. I had $12 on me. He didn't care. He took the 12 bucks and he gave me a collection that included 6 of the essential Beatles albums, all American made on the West Coast, and then about 150 were Christian records, gospel records that were all in beautiful shape, but not for me. And I gave them to a couple of churches here in town. And then I got all these like Command performances and Phase 4 London albums, and those things were made in the 60s for sort of like a demonstration record, for stereo, because mono was still pretty much king. In any case, this is one of them, the Moog Dick Hyman special. Let's see if we can see it good. And this is the one that didn't become famous. He actually had a hit record in around 1968, and this is 69, and it's an incredible early recording of music off of electronic gear that would become very commonplace by today's standards, from a guy that was well known as a pianist and essentially an engineer. And this is one of the creations. It's an incredible album, virtually impossible to find in the condition I have. Here is the inside look at it. Just wow kind of thing. And I love it. I mean, it has some Beatles songs. Almost every music instrumental of the time seemed to have Beatles songs in them. This had Obla Di, Obla Da. Green Onions. There's a great jam. It starts out kind of slow, and I'm going like, I don't know. And the next thing I know, it is jamming out. And about 7 minutes long. There's some really amazing material. People may think they're inventing things today, but it's not that it has been done in the future, because there are a lot of great things that have happened, in the last 10 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, when you have 8 billion people. But this is definitely, essentially a caveman almost kind of thing. And so I just wanted to show you that real quick. Now I'm going to sell all these albums. The whole idea eventually is to make a copy, just like Mr. Patrick, the vinyl archivist, does. Here's another one of those Phase 4. This is actually probably the most amazing album, as far as a test record could go, and great music. It actually has Bernard Herrmann conducting on this album for the motion pictures made by Alfred Hitchcock. And it's incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so, these things are I call them mint minus, but the reality is they're almost new. The old lady and her husband took care of these things golden, just as they took care of the Beatles albums, and they didn't have too many albums because they were really a religious group, and obviously the music of the Beatles, no matter what, would live on. Here's another. Actually, this album cover is incredible. The album itself is unbelievable, but it has Mr. Zeller, who apparently I think was a disc jockey, and really that's about the only fault to it. On the thing, he obviously picked out on the album, and he has a nice little arrow pointing at one of the songs, which I think it's Addicts of My Life is the song, and it's the second to the last, I believe. of this album, which is American Beauty. And God, I had copies on 4 tracks, 8 tracks, cassettes, albums. I've had this thing a million times and used to play it day and night almost, along with a lot of other albums, of course. And this would be a perfect album if it didn't have Mr. Zeller on it, which is kind of funny to me. But, you know, I can't miss out on the music. The music is superb. The other thing that I got was this Yes Songs, which the album cover is kind of bad. Here it is. This is the front of the Yes Songs live 3-album set, and I mean, it's big. It's really big. It's 4 foot big. It's this incredibly long, big, gigantic album. The albums are in great shape. The inside of the cover looks great. The outside of the cover kind of looks bad. But the albums themselves are, I would call them BG to BG plus plus, and you know, depends on which album we're talking about. And it also contains the books in probably BG minus, maybe BG plus. But I don't know many people have an album this big, and I'll have to put that together later. And I got this the other day, a beautiful album cover of Mike Bloomfield and Al Kooper on the Adventures of, and there you can see where I have this. I rate everything. I put everything down. I'm kind of ADD or whatever it is, and but the album is actually horrible. You know, one side is completely gone. And then you would be surprised, but this is actually one of the more expensive albums I have right here, which I haven't played yet. It's worth maybe as much as $250. I don't know for a fact. I've only looked it up twice. And Discogs is one of the most frustrating things in the world to me. But I thought I'd show you that. I ended up with 3 of them. I let one go very cheaply at my record store because the guy says he's a collector of this. He likes Vince Guaraldi, who I have never heard of before until this time. I always thought it was somebody else. And in any case, I'm going to stop here because I want to make short videos instead of long ones, and this is already 7 minutes long without even trying.